so much for actually joining us on this program. I know the time differs and you still were able to be here with us. Thank you for that. Good morning to you, Mr. Wissart.
Good morning, Karina. Thank you very much for having your show this morning. Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege.
Oh, it's definitely a pleasure as well. And even with that, we must extend the gratitude to Mr. Orlando Satchel as well for making this possible.
Of course, definitely. He's a great person, great chef, and a wonderful person to have the opportunity to work underneath back in my time in the UK. So that's where I know him from. So we've had many good journeys on our days working in the kitchen, and he's
Thank you so much for that. I just want to apologize for that break with our connection. For those of you, if you're just joining us, say good morning to you. I have Chef Lyndon Wissart from the UK, and he will be sharing with us his journey as a diabetic.
sorry about that. Somebody called me. I do apologize.
It's okay. For the warm up, I would like you to introduce yourself to the listening audience, Radio Land, and of course, online.
Okay, so my name is Lyndon Wissart. I'm of Jamaican background. My parents are from Jamaica. I was born in the UK. I've been a chef for over 30 years, working in different establishments, from hotels, restaurants, banqueting, doing my own catering events as well. I love cooking. I was cooking since I was probably 12, 10, because I was the latchkey child in the family. I'm the baby of the family. So I was always the first one home after school. So I had the key around my neck to come in the house. And when I used to come in the house, I used to go to the garden. I used to cut some scallion, which is spring onion, wash it, chop it up, and then fry it off with some baked beans and a couple of fried eggs, and some hard dough bread, and that was me in the early days, the beginning, of my catering industry. In 1982, what happened to me? I was on a YTS scheme in the UK back then, the YTS scheme, Young Training Scheme, which I was selected one of 12 people out of 2,000 to be on this scheme. So the scheme ran for 12 months. And throughout those 12 months, you went into different departments within a hotel, which I was working in, from the kitchen to the back accounts, front of house, reception, cleaning the rooms, all the different areas that we do. And after the 12 months, you decide which area you want to work in a hotel. So obviously I went straight for the kitchen, and that's where my passion started to grow from learning. And from going to college, I studied at as you know, what's going on here today? Gosh, sorry about that. Alarm went off. Sorry. Everything's going on today. So that's when I met Orlando back then. And then after meeting Lando, I was asked to go to train at the Savoy Hotel. So working at the Savoy Hotel gave me the foundation to work there for 2 years to get certificates. So with back then, if you worked at the Savoy Hotel, when you get a certificate, that means you can work anywhere around the world. Once you got that certificate, it opens up all the doors for you. So that was my number one goal when I was working at the Savoy. And I loved every day, I loved every minute of it, because the challenge was really, really good. And I loved it. I learned so much, really did.
Thank you so much for that. Understanding you're a UK-based chef, and of course, who has made the mission to transform how people with diabetes enjoy food, even without sacrificing the flavors as well. You mind, just sharing the journey with us?
Well, as a chef, to be honest with you, I should have been much more healthier on my journey, you know. But as a chef, and a lot of chefs know, when you're making a sauce, for example, or a meal for somebody, you know, as a sauce has different complements, different ingredients in it. So each step that you're adding a different ingredient, you have to taste it, to make sure the flavors is getting better. Make sure the flavors going to be just right for when it hits the plate, so the customer tastes it, they're going to enjoy it. So we probably got to taste one sauce maybe about 5, 6, 10 times before we get it right. Before we get that, wow, that's the flavor that we're looking for. So with that, with a lot of sauces, they can be carbon based, carbohydrate based, flour based, dairy based. So in that sense at all, your body is accumulating a lot of glucose through these ingredients. So I was putting on weight when I was working in the early days, and I got bigger and bigger. And to be honest with you, I should have been more healthier, because I was cooking healthy meals for my clients, but I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't eating healthy. I was eating high quality food, preparing it, but sometimes I wasn't eating the same foods. So we give them nice quality food, vegetables, meat, stuff, and then we go and eat rubbish. We just snack. So that's one of the things, the downfalls of being a chef. Because in a chef, you got so much food around you, you can pick, and sometimes you don't sit down and have a proper meal, and sometimes you haven't got time to have a proper meal. So all we're doing is just picking all the time. We are, unfortunately, So my transition from being an unhealthy chef turned me into a diabetic. And one of the perfect examples of that is I didn't live in London at the time. I lived outside London. So my journey to London would be about an hour in the morning or hour and a half, depending on what time. So I had to get to London for like 7 a.m. So yeah, 7 a.m. So I have to be up by 5 a.m. to leave my house for about 6 a.m. So I would get myself a breakfast meal for the car. So I had 3 hard dough bread. Yeah, okay. And some of you may know it as sweet bread. Yeah. And sweet bread is beautiful, as we know. I will put butter on it. Yeah. And then I'll put jam on it. Yeah. And I put a lot of jam on it because I wanted to taste that jam. So all the sweetness is there. And also what I do, I'd have a cup of coffee, but I'd have the sachet coffee. You got the sachet coffee with the powder in it? That's got milk and sugar in it already. So I would have that. And then on top of that, I'd have 3 to 4 teaspoons of demerara sugar. Demerara sugar is brown sugar, dark sugar, but really it's white sugar coated, So the thing, I'm eating a healthier sugar, it wasn't the case. So also at that time of the year, I would always get an itch in my throat, in my nose, my eyes would run. And I said to my friend one day, why am I getting this at this time of the year? He goes, Lyndon, you got hay fever. I said, what do you mean I got hay fever? So I was in denial about having hay fever. So when I done my research, the best way to get rid of hay fever is to buy local honey where the pollen is grown, yeah, where the bees are. So because I lived in a country, what I used to do, I used to go to the farms and get a small bottle of honey with a big price, with a big price. And I'm thinking to myself, how long am I going to be doing this for, spending all this money on honey? So I'd add the honey to my coffee in the morning as well, on top of my sugar. Yeah. So after a period of time, I had to go to a larger superstore. And what I'd do, I'd buy a large bottle of honey with a smaller price. But as you may know, some of the honeys nowadays, the quality is not as good as a farmed honey, So just think, this was my journey, just going to work in the morning. The 3 slices of bread, the coffee with the sugar and the honey. And that's my journey to work. Once I got to work, I was working on the pastry section, making cakes. So in the mornings, we'd have to prepare about 20, 30 cakes to send off to venues for the day. So when you got a cake, you got a cake probably about that size. And then what you do, you trim off the edges. Yeah, and when you trim off the edges, what do you do with the trimmings? You put them in a bowl in front of you. You don't throw them away, you know? So I was eating the trimmings at the same time. So somebody would come into the kitchen, Linda, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a coffee? I said, yeah, I would have another drink. So I'd have another drink, I'd have a tea or a coffee. I'll put my sugar in the coffee, and at work, normally they get a cheap honey. So you squeeze some honey in it again. So this was in the morning for my breakfast when I'm at work. Lunchtime comes now. Lunchtime's around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. It depends on the day. And there's always going to be a carbohydrate. Pasta, rice, potato, always a fizzy drink or water. But who wants to have water? We always want to go for the fizzy drink, the luxury drink, So I'd be having a meat, a rice, a pasta, everything you can get onto a plate. And that was the lunchtime. In the afternoon now, when you about maybe 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, we have like a tea break. And during that tea break, yeah, you can't just have tea by itself. You got to have tea with something. So you can have some more cake or some more biscuits or something, and that's part of it. Around maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending on the day, when I'm finishing work, because I know I got a long journey home, yeah, sometimes you're going to hit traffic, I'd go and get a free meal deal, which we have over here. And my free meal deal used to be like a BLT sandwich, a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich with wholemeal bread, yeah. And then I'll have a fizzy drink, yeah, or a chocolate bar or a packet of crisps, depending on the day. And I would have that in my car for my journey home. So I'd have that, I'll be drinking and I'll be eating on my way home. And there's certain days, Cabrina, when I'm driving my car, I could hear this noise, ka-ching, ching, ka-ching, ching. I said, what's that noise? What's that noise? So some days I would stop my car and I look in the boot and I look in the boot, I've got J2Os in there. You know the drink J2O? I had cases of J2O in there. And the reason being is because I never used to drink alcohol, yeah, at that time. So when I used to go out with my family and friends, I always wanted a soft drink. So I chose to have J2O because I loved it, and then I became addicted to it. And because I worked in the catering industry, I was able to go to like the cash and carry, yeah, where you could buy in bulk. You could buy drinks, foods in bulk. So one day when I went to a cash and carry, the cash and carry was basically saying, Lyndon, come in, come in, come in. And on the wall, it had a big sign, J2O case, £5.20. £5.20. I used to spend £2.50 for one bottle of J2O. I just think I'm getting a case of 6 for £5.20. It only makes sense to buy a few cases and keep, So that's what I would do. So, and just to let some of the listeners know how addicted we can be to certain drinks and foods, I would open the boot the days that I knew I had J2O in there. I'll take one bottle, I'll open it there, and I'll just drink one right there. I don't know why. And then I'll take another one, and then I'll put in the car with me for my journey, for the rest of my journey at home. I just think I still got my sandwich and my other drinks in the car as well. Yeah. So by the time I got home, now, you know what you ladies are like. You want to, or your partners, you want to make sure there's food ready when they come home. So you know they're coming home. So you get home, your partner's cooks for you. She says, dinner be ready soon. You look on the table. On my table was my ginger beer and my mango juice, my favorite drinks. Yeah. And the wife said, Lyndon, you ready to drink? It's ready to eat. I said, you know something? Not really, because I've been eating all day and I'm full. The wife has said to me, is there something wrong with my food? I said, no, 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 no. So what do? You can't just not eat. So you got to eat again, So the wife gives you your food. And you know what we guys are like, after we've had a wonderful meal, add your drinks, you sit down by the sofa like that, switch on the TV to watch football or some sport, but we go to sleep. We go to sleep because the food in our stomach, in our system, makes us tired. So sure. I'd be sleeping, and then about an hour later, the wife would come nudging me, Lyndon, you're going to bed, you're going to bed. I said, yeah, I'm coming. So the wife's gone upstairs, I'm downstairs, and what do we guys do? We go to the kitchen, I'm gonna have a cup of tea just before I go to bed. Have a cup of tea. So what do? You can't have a cup of tea without having your biscuits, So what we do, we take about maybe 3 or 4 biscuits out of the packet, leave the packet, back on the sofa, watching TV, eating the biscuits. But you know what happened, Kabrina? What we do after that, we go back to the kitchen and get the rest of the packet. And by the night, by the time you know it, you've eaten a packet of biscuit. You've eaten a packet of biscuit. And this is the journey a lot of people go through, because I've done events where some people have come up to me and said, Lyndon, why? You're talking to me. Lyndon, you're doing exactly what I'm doing. So I'm saying to myself, why? I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. And it really hit home to me when I started to write my book. And when I was writing my book, I was making a list of all the things that I was doing, the foods that I was eating, you know, and it just made sense to me. Wow, I'm overeating. And sometimes, don't forget, we snack in between as well, depending how your day is. So this is why I became diabetic, because of my food consumption, my lifestyle, you know, and because I had an amount of food around me on a day-to-day basis, it was like no control. You can eat what you want when you want, and that's the dangerous part for a lot of chefs. So a lot of chefs now, you're going to see them with big bellies. Yeah, you very rarely find a chef which is slim. If you find a chef that's slim, that's biological. You know, that's his natural genes. You know, that's his. But my belly was big. Yeah, my belly was big. And you know why I know my belly was big? Because my mother told me so. She said, Lyndon, look upon yourself. Your belly will get big. And I said, Mom, how can you talk to me like that? I'm the baby of the family. Mom, you know? She said, Lyndon, look upon yourself. She said, pig don't know when pigs stink. I said, wow. I said, wow, Mom. So that time I went home and Kabrina, I looked in the mirror. I looked in the mirror for the first time at myself and I said, wow, look how big I look. Look how big I look. Because pigs don't know when pigs, when you're around people like that, you don't feel like you're in that same environment, you know? So this is the basis of why I became type 2 diabetic. That's the beginning of my journey, that is, of type 2 journey, you know? So, so what happened one day, I'm working in the kitchen now. I'm working on a calculator, and the calculator saying 1 and 1 is 3. Hold on, what's going on? 2 and 2 is 5. 6 and 6 is 7. Well, Lyndon, focus. All right, focus. And I'm trying to work out this recipe now, and my mind just couldn't focus properly. And there's this chef making these jokes in the background, and I can hear him, and people's laughing. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, Lyndon, just focus on you. And then this guy said, Lyndon. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. So when somebody calls your name, you react. It's a natural reaction. And when he called my name, I just looked into his eyes. I just looked into his eyes. And I just ran out of the kitchen. I went into the changing room and I fell on the floor and I was crying like a baby. That's the day I broke down, mentally and physically broke down. I was crying, I was crying, I was crying because I had so much things going wrong with my body for over a year. I had blood in my stool, pains in my stomach. My mind wasn't right. I had pins and needles. I was running to the toilet maybe 3-4 times an hour. You know, the symptoms were there, and especially had pins and needles in your fingers and your toes. You know, that tingling feeling, that was all there. You know, my vision wasn't 100%, and I just couldn't focus properly. And the chef came into the changing room. He said, Linda, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? I said, you know something? I got all these issues going wrong with me. He said, okay, Linda, you have 2 choices. Number 1, you could either go home or you go to the doctor. And you know something? We men, because I'm part of that statistics, we men, we don't talk. I had all these issues going on for a year. I'm trying to work it out. What's this for? What's that for? So I didn't even know what diabetes was at the time. So I'm thinking to myself, you know something, Lyndon? I think it's time that you go and get some help. So I went to the phone, I rang the doctor, And you know what happened to me when I rang the doctor? I actually got through to somebody. I actually got through to somebody. And when I got through to somebody, you know, I asked them, I'd like to make an appointment to see the doctor. And you know when they told me to come in? Let some people answer that. You know what time they come? They took 5:30 that afternoon. They said, come in. Normally, you can't get through to the doctor, number one. It's an answer machine, or you got to wait. And number two, when you ask for an appointment, it's like a few days later, a week later, or something like that. But something happened to me that day where they said, come in today. So on my journey, excuse me, going to the doctors, driving in my car, I had all these things going in my head. What is it? What's wrong with me? How am I gonna deal with it? Do I want to hear the positive? Do I want to hear the negative? And this is where men we suffer from, is not wanting to know the answer, positive or negative. When I was in that reception area, waiting to see the doctor, I'm sitting there, one foot in the door, one foot out the door. Am I going to stay? Am I going to go? And my mind just said, Lyndon, you know something? I'm going to go. So as soon as I said, I'm going to go, Lyndon Wissart, they call my name. They call my name to come in. So I went in to see the doctor now. I just took my time going to see the doctor, and the doctor goes, okay, what's the problem? What do you want to about? So I told her about all the things that was going wrong with my body. I had the pains in my stomach. She put me on the bench, started to touch here, touch there, touch everywhere. I can't feel nothing. We're going to send you to a hospital, yeah, to get a full body checkup, yeah. I told her about the blood in my stool. She says, okay, I don't know what that is. We're going to send you to the hospital to get all that checkup. So all my hospital journey is another story. Which is, for me, was terrifying. Anyway, but that's another story. So the last thing my doctor said to me, let's do a pinprick blood test on your finger. So that's a blood glucose test. When they done that pinprick blood test, and she got the results straight away, it was 15.9. Yeah, she said, that's very high. And she said, that should be 5 and below. I said, what? So she said, you may be diabetic. So I said, okay, whatever. So she said, we're going to send you for the HbA1c blood test. So the HbA1c blood test is a blood test that you take, and that monitors your blood glucose level for the last 3 months. Yeah, that level should be 42 and below at that time. That means you're not diabetic. Mine was 92. My HbA1c was 92. And the only way that I knew that was serious is when the doctor face changed. And the doctor went like this. Her arm went like that. I'm thinking, what's she doing? And she goes, we'll have to put you on medication. I said, what medication is that? We have to put your medication to reduce your blood sugars. And I'm thinking to myself, you're diabetic. I said, what do you mean I'm diabetic? What is diabetes? She goes, the foods that you've been eating, your lifestyle. And then for some reason, Karina, you know what happens sometimes? When somebody mentions certain words, it kind of clicks in your head and it brings you back to memory time where you think, okay, where have I heard this word before? And the 2 times I can remember hearing this word. The first time was when I went to visit a friend's mother in the house. And when I went into the room, I saw her. She was sitting in a chair with her leg up. And she said, Lyndon, the sugar get me. I said, what? She said, the sugar get me. But you know, because we respect our elders, we don't question them what the sugar mean or whatever. We say, okay, but you know something, well, I wish you good health and well-being. You know, it's good to see you, and we'll see you again. A few months later, she passed away through diabetes. And at the funeral, that's when I realized it was diabetes she was talking about. Because in the Caribbean, when they said the sugar get me, they don't say diabetes, because diabetes is like the death sentence. That word is like the death sentence. So I thought to myself, wow, okay. And the other time I remember about diabetes is when my cousin Ken, he was type 1 diabetic. Yeah. And Ken told me how he became type 1 diabetic. So he started his journey on doing research on medication, what to do, what to eat, that kind of thing. And he said, Lyndon, if you ever become diabetic, don't take medication because there's side effects to it. And I figured to myself, okay, but it went in one ear and out the other. So you don't take no notice of it. But when my doctor said you're diabetic, I thought to myself, wow. I remember Ken said, don't take your medication. So, Karina, this is where men suffer, or just normal people suffer, when you got professional person, yeah, who's medically trained, and you got a person who's not medically trained, who's just done his research on the internet and experiment with certain things, telling you not to take medication. One's telling you take medication, the other said don't take medication. It's like, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? So your mind is confused. So I said to my doctor, you know something? The only medication that I've really taken in my life is headache tablets. Because working as a chef in the kitchen, we always have a headache. You know, there's always something in the kitchen that's give you a headache. You know, if it's somebody or the pressure. So that we always had headache tablets. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, doctor, I'd prefer not to take any medication. Is it okay? The doctor said to me, Lyndon, I don't mind you not taking any medication. I don't recommend it. Yeah. But if you don't want to take it, come back in 3 weeks' time. Yeah. And we do another HbA1c blood test. So I said to myself, okay, fine. So I didn't take the medication, spoke to my cousin Ken. Yeah. And I said, the last thing I said to my doctor, how did I become diabetic? And she said, through the foods that you're eating, your lifestyle, the pasta, the rice, my rice and peas, my chicken, my nice gravies, my macaroni cheese, and all these roast potatoes, all the alcohol, all these wonderful things I was consuming on a day-to-day basis. That's what made me become type 2 diabetic. So I thought to myself, Lyndon, if you carry on like this, you're going to get sick. You're going to get sicker and sicker, because every 22 seconds, somebody loses a lower limb through diabetes. Every 6 seconds, somebody dies from diabetes. That's how serious it is. I am self-employed. So if I become sick and I can't work, I don't earn. So if I don't earn, it affects my livelihood, my family, everything around me. So I had to make a decision there and then. What do you do, Lyndon? I said, you know something, Lynn? You're going to cut down on these carbohydrates straight away. No messing about, because this is serious. When I saw the look in that doctor's eyes and that was serious, I thought, okay, I'm going to go with this. So what I started to do, at that time, I was a member of a gym. Yeah, I was overweight, like I said, and I want to cut down, so I need to get exercise now. So what I started to do is to take my daughter to school in the morning for 8:30, drop her at school, then I go straight to the gym. I go to the gym for like 3-4 hours on this cycle, this machine, the skipping, this. I was all over the place doing yeah, and for a few days I was doing this, and I was frustrated because I was doing so much things that's taking up so much time in the gym. So what I eventually decided to do, to get a personal trainer, I go around all the different machines in the gym and what I was feel comfortable with. Yeah. So what I decided to do, I went around all the different machines. When I go to the gym, to park my car there, £1 was for 4 hours. Yeah. And for 50p was for 2 hours. So I said to myself, Lyndon, you need to challenge yourself, get a routine, put 50p into that machine, car park machine, get in that gym and work out a routine that you could do within 2 hours. So what I would do, I'll get in that gym, cross trainer, yeah, the rowing machine, then the bicycle, then some skipping, and then there's a V plate, which is a vibrating thing, which I love. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And there's I ski, so there's a machine, a lateral machine, yeah, that I would do. And sometimes there's another different type of cycle I done. So I managed to work out a routine within 2 hours to get back to my car. Once I got back to my car, I'd have a punnet of blueberries and a banana. Yeah. And then when I go home, I'll have some more fruit, more vegetables. And I started to cut down on my meats and everything like that. So I was doing that 3-4 times a week. Because I was self-employed, I was able to take the time off work. I didn't have to work. So I could go to the gym 3-4 times a week, no problem. That wasn't an issue, you know? So I was doing that. I cut all my carbohydrates down. And what I would do, because I was going to the gym for about 4 or 5 hours, I was just drinking water at that time. So at that time, I was doing intermittently fasting at the same time. So I didn't realize I was intermittently fasting. Only when one of my nurse friends, she told me, Lyndon, you're intermittently fasting. I said, really? She goes, yeah. So when you're intermittently fast, that means you're abstaining from eating. So your body rests, yeah, and you're not putting any carbohydrates into the system, yeah. So I was going to the gym as well, exercise, I did physical activity. So also what my cousin Ken said to me, Lyndon, now that because you're diabetic, sometimes the pancreas is not functioning properly. Yeah. So because of pancreas is not functioning properly, what you need to do, yeah, is have foods that's going to heal and nourish the pancreas. And these are foods called flavonoids. Yeah. Flavonoid foods, they heal and nourish the pancreas. So I was focused on flavonoid foods like fresh herbs like parsley, tomatoes, dark chocolate, beans, romaine lettuce, tomatoes, cooked tomatoes, all these kind of things, peppers, all lots of vegetables that heals and nourishes the pancreas. So that's what I was focusing mostly on. So when the 3 weeks came up, within 28 days, I went back to get another blood test. My HbA1c went down from 92 down to 77. It did, without medication. When I went to the doctor, she goes, wow, whatever you're doing, continue doing it. Yeah. So for another 25 days, I went from 77 down to 60 HbA1c. That's 2 months. And then this is when I went down, and this is the day I met up with Ken, my cousin, because we was going to an event, how to write a book. Yeah. And when I told Ken, Lynn, what you done is brilliant. It was really good. But it couldn't comprehend me. We was walking for about 10, 15 minutes to this event, and he kept looking on me. I said, Ken, what do you keep looking on me for? He says, Lyndon, do you actually know what you've actually done? I said, no. He goes, yeah, I don't think you understand. You've reversed your diabetes already. Yeah, you've put it down in 2 months from 92 down to 60. I said, what, Ken? All right, whatever. So in another month's time, okay, my HbA1c went down to 42. No, 41. It went down to 41. Sorry, it went down to 41. That's in a total of 105 days. Yeah, 105 days. So I reversed my type 2 diabetes naturally. That's what I say. So this is why I share my journey now and talk about it. But for me, it wasn't a big deal. I didn't understand what diabetes was until when I reversed it. I started to see the statistics about diabetes, around the world, like 400 million people, 44.5 million people in the UK, probably 5 million people in the UK with diabetes. How many people not diagnosed with diabetes? They're probably saying about 500 million people worldwide got diabetes, walking around undiagnosed. But for me, it wasn't about what other people was doing. It was about my personal journey of reversing it. I was just focused on myself. So this is a bit about my journey. And a lot of people said, so what, Linda, if you can tell me what you've done to reverse your diabetes. What? Give me an example. Okay, so what I had to do, Gabrina, is to break it down. 4 things. I said, let me analyze this and do 4 things. Number 1, my mindset. Yeah. My mindset? What do I need to do? How do I get started? What's the first steps? Yeah. And for the new people that's following my journey, my first step is to have a look at my book, The Inspired Diabetic. That's the first thing I would say anyway, yeah? The second thing is diet. What are you taking out of your diet and what are you putting into your diet? So I took out a lot of carbohydrates out of my diet. I took meat out of my diet, yeah? Because I knew when I was eating red meat, I would feel bloated. When I'm eating bread, I would feel bloated. So you have to look at your body. I got a very good friend named Valma. She says, Lyndon, your body is your temple. So whatever you put into your mouth, you have to be careful because it will affect your body. So this is the diet. So I took out a lot of the carbohydrates and I introduced the flavonoids into my diet. The third thing was physical activity, which I just spoke about. You know, physical activity doesn't have to be anything about going to the gym. Yeah, like I did. You can do stuff at home on the chair. You know, anything. You know, Just get your system going. You could, even if you're bedridden, you can lay down on the bed. If you can move your legs in the bed, get the blood circulating. Anything like that. You do skipping, I do skipping, roller skating, anything that you feel like you're gonna do, sitting in the chair, do something. Because you need to get the heartbeat going. Yeah. So that was the third thing. And the fourth thing, like I just explained, there's the intermittently fasting. Intermittently fasting gives your body a rest from food. And the thing about it, a lot of people, how can you not eat? I think, well, it's easy, just don't eat. It's in the mind. We are trained to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah. But because I was going for a blood test every month, every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, I would do a 24-hour fast, just water. So I know when I'm coming to have my next blood test, my blood sugar is going to be low. And that was important for me. So the longest I went to do a fast was for 27 hours. And you know something, Karina? I said to myself, Lyndon, when this fast is over, when you get to 24 hours, I can have a big breakfast, man. You know, I can have a big breakfast and eat. 24 hours came. What? Is that it? And I didn't even feel hungry. So I said, Lyndon, test yourself. 25 hours. So I went 25 hours. And I still felt all right. 26 hours. Lyndon, you're really testing yourself now. So in 27 hours, just drinking water. I went 27, I said, okay, fine. I'm going to have something to eat now. And I thought to myself, wow, it's all in the mind sometimes. It's all in the mind. The mind is stronger than we think. But what I'm saying to people, your mind and your body, mind and body has to be in sync. You have to be on the same level. I have to be on the same. This is what I had to train myself to be. Because don't forget, I had an addiction to sugar, you know? And sometimes when you see that cake, you want that cake, you know? And that cake looks nice, you know it's going to taste nice, but it's going to affect the body. So what I'm saying to myself now, okay, because I had a relapse. And what I'm saying to myself now, if you're going to have that cake, eat the cake and enjoy it. Or eat that cake and reward yourself because the work that you've done. The work that you've done. So when I had my relapse, it was at Christmas time. Christmas time, I got family come around the house. I'm always cooking at Christmas time. I'll cook everything. And when we had the meal, the potatoes, vegetables, meat, and everything like that, we put the desserts on the table, the custard, the ice cream. And I got my phone, you know, to do a selfie like that. And I'm looking at the phone to take the selfie. And I thought to myself, you know something, Lynn? Ah, man. I'll just have a little cake because you deserve it. So, Sabrina, I had one piece of cake, another cake with ice cream, cake with custard. And you know something? My body and my spirit just went, join the family. Because before that, my mind wasn't with my family. My family was there, but I wasn't. But when I had that, I felt so much better. And what happened after that? I had another blood test coming up in February. Yeah, in February next year. And when I went for that blood test, my blood sugar levels was down to like 39. And it never spiked at all. Because I've done so much work before that. When I started to eat at Christmas, it didn't affect my blood sugar levels. And the lowest that I went down to HbA1c was, I think, about 36, 39 to 36 or 37. You know, so that's the overall picture of my journey. That is of my journey.
Thank you so much, Wissart, for sharing that with us. So 20 minutes moving up to the hour. Let's go to the comment section. We have Sheldon. He did ask, was that part of the problem when you were really speaking about, you know, how you actually became diabetic? So he posed the question, was alcohol part of the problem?
Yes. Yes. Alcohol was part of the problem. I think back in the 90s, late 90s, early 80s, I got twins. Yeah. And when you got twins in a family, it's a big deal. Yeah. So back then, because I had twins when I was young. Yeah. I was a young father, and people used to bring drinks to the house all the time. So I was always drinking. I was always drinking alcohol. And my family lived down the coast. So we would take a car ride to the coast, and I would always buy jelly babies as well. So jelly babies are sweet. So I'd eat the sweets and I'll be having alcohol. So alcohol is very sweet anyway. I was addicted to rum and black, Southern Comfort, Malibu, all the sweet ones. I used to love the alcohol. But now I very, very rarely drink alcohol. I do. I literally stopped drinking alcohol. I did. But alcohol is definitely part of a diabetic issue, definitely.
Thank you for that. We have the comments continue to pour in. Mazma Xavier from East London, United Kingdom. I had two aunties that lost a leg and a foot due to their diabetes.
Diabetes.
One was on my dad's side, his sister in London, UK, and the other on my mom's side, her sister in Dominica. And Sheldon did again continue to say celery, parsley, ginger, and radish juice. It doesn't taste good, but it reboots the body. Mars asked, how much body weight did you lose?
I lost about 3 stone. I did. I lost a lot. I did. You know, to a lot of people, it's not a lot, but to me, it was a lot. You know, I was going up to 85, 89 kilos and growing. That's like 13 stone, you know, and I went down to 75, 76 kilos. I lost so much weight. And the thing about it, when I started, people was telling me, Lyndon, I think you need to stop now. They said, Lyndon, stop, because I was still exercising and I was just losing the weight because I was eating so healthier now, but I didn't think about it. So I had to start put back weight back on. So I had to start eating more green vegetables, you know, callaloo, kale, these kind of things, spinach, yeah, to put the weight back on. So yeah. So I lost a lot of weight.
We have Dr. Moda. My husband used Lyndon's book with fantastic results. We have Lyndon's book and recommend it to others. Thanks, Lyndon. And maybe just to share a little with us as well regarding the inspired diabetic.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mulia. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Mars Xavier did say, congratulations on losing 3 stones in body weight. By the way, that is a lot. Well done, Lyndon. The comments continue to come in. Here I am maybe to ask, people do believe, diabetic milks are more kind of a restrictive one. How do you change that perception?
You change that perception by following somebody like myself, because at the end of the day, I couldn't believe the amount of people that are type 2 diabetic when it's just a lifestyle change, and I met people diabetic for like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they're type 2. I said, how can you be diabetic for so long? What are you doing? Do you know what you're eating on a day-to-day basis? So the first question I ask people, write down everything that you're eating. That's the key. Write down everything that you're eating each day, from breakfast, lunch, dinner, what you're drinking, because then you can analyze why you're type 2 diabetic, and then you can start making that change to see what carbohydrates are in certain foods. So you've got to abstain from. Don't forget, we come from a Caribbean background, yeah? So I'd have rice and peas on the plate, macaroni cheese on the plate, I'd have roast potatoes on the plate, gravy with my chicken or whatever, That's 3-4 sets of carbohydrates on the plate, and sometimes there won't even be a salad there. The only salad there might be a coleslaw. Yeah, and what's coleslaw made up of? Mayonnaise. So these are the things we have to look at on a day-to-day basis. Abstain from one of them. Have potatoes today, no rice, or have rice today, no potatoes. Have pasta today, no rice, no potatoes. You have to balance it out, but you're not missing out on nothing. This is what people think. Oh, if I don't have a nice meal, I'm going to miss out. No, you don't, because the reward of feeling better and healthy is so much better. When I lost a lot of weight, I felt so much energy. When I stopped eating meat, I felt so good. I felt like a lot of energy. My mind came back. I became back with my family. I was with one sink with my family. My children enjoyed company with me now because I wasn't that miserable dad anymore. You know, because don't forget, when you're miserable, when you're tired, hungry, yeah, you're miserable. And this is what people say. One of my sister-in-laws used to say to me, Lyndon, when you come round, don't sleep. Don't sleep. Just think how mentally people see you when they tell you, when you come around the house, don't sleep. Because when I go to people's house, I just sit down on the sofa, I'm gone. You know? So being tired is one of the symptoms of diabetes. It is. It's one of the symptoms.
Thank you. We have a question from Sheldon. Was your pancreas damaged or recovered, or you removed the sugars and carbs from your diet for good results?
Um, to be honest with you, I don't know if my pancreas was damaged. I really don't know because to find out if your pancreas is damaged, they got to do a test on you, yeah, to give you insulin, yeah. So even through my blood test, nothing probably came up to show that my pancreas was damaged. But at the same time, I couldn't take the chance of not listening to my cousin Ken, who said, Lyndon, have flavonoid foods because it heals enough your pancreas. So I done my own research as well, even though Ken told me about it. I introduced okra to my diet as well. One of my friends told me that my granddad uses okra, spirulina, yeah, that as well. Bitter gourd, chlorella, yeah. These are things that help reduce the blood sugars naturally. Cinnamon does as well. Sea moss does as well. Moringa does. These are things that we have to look at to see what reduces our blood sugars naturally. So all these things, they help heal the pancreas. So the things that get you diabetic, like the carbohydrates, that damages the pancreas. So when you know what's damaging the pancreas, that's what you should abstain from. That's what you should, or take out your diet until you feel better.
Thank you for that. Permit me to ask you, Chef, are there certain ingredients you swear by or completely avoid?
For me, right, alcohol. I completely avoid alcohol. I'm surrounded by alcohol all the time. Family, friends, in the industry as a chef. You know, unfortunately, sometimes we have to put alcohol, red wine or white wine, or in certain gravies and sauces. You know, and this is the way it is. You know, especially in the high end restaurants, they use a lot of wines and stuff like that, alcohol they do. But I avoid it as much as possible. That's my thing. Pasta, rice, I avoid as much as possible now. I do. I don't eat pasta and rice every day like I do. I probably have meat with salad. My go-to meat now is mostly chicken, but I don't eat chicken like I used to. I used to love lamb, love lamb, love lamb, love lamb. But I don't really eat lamb like I used to. I've used to work at Savoy Hotel, so I've tasted the best beef. I've tasted the best lamb, you know, that they said that you can produce. It's a five-star restaurant, hotel, and I've worked with and I've been to places, five-star restaurants where they serve the best, and you taste it, you know, and it's like, wow, you know. So right now in my life, I don't need to say, oh, I need to have some beef, I need to have some, you know, corn-fed chicken or anything like that. So I'm at this stage of life because I'm a chef. There's not many foods that I can say, yeah, I'm gonna go for now. I just abstain from the things that doesn't make my body feel right. You know, body don't feel right.
And of course, without being said, could you walk us through your favorite recipes that's both healthy and delicious?
Oh, my favorite recipes. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm gonna put my hands up. Yeah, my favorite recipe is my mom's rice and peas and chicken.
Mm.
you know, my mom's cooking is, you know, my mom passed away a year and a half ago. You know what I'm saying? I miss her dearly. I miss her food. So, you know, me as a chef, I try to copy my mother. You know, before my mom passed away, I spent a lot of time with her in the kitchen, and she'd be over my shoulder. She'd, Lyndon, you taste that? You got enough salt in that? How much, how much, how much time you put in there? How much garlic you put in there? You know what I'm saying? That's how mom used to be. So when Mum's telling me, I said, Mum, what does that taste like? And she said, that's okay. So I got the flavor of cooking like my mother. So 9 times out of 10, my go-to food would be like a stewed chicken, for example, or if I do a rice and peas, but I want it to be taste like the way my mum done it. That's my go-to thing. If I'm doing vegetables, one of my daughter's favorite things is wraps. So we do like a stir-fry chicken wrap with peppers, onions, and chicken, and we do nice seasoning with it, fresh coriander, a bit of rosemary, some thyme, all these little things, and the specific things that my daughter likes, like tomatoes, because even like with cooked tomatoes is good for the prostate as well. It is. So for men out there, if I love tomatoes, I love tomatoes. So that's one of my go-to fruit or vegetables, whatever they want to call it, or salad things, is that, and my romaine lettuce, romaine lettuce and red onion, because red onions, tomatoes, and the romaine lettuce, they're all flavonoid foods. Yeah, so they help heal the pancreas anyway. I like extra virgin olive oil just on it, and some Himalayan salts or some Celtic salts. I'm very specific with little things like that, because all these small ingredients you have to pick out. Sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, but they're healing to the body. They're healing to your own personal body. Excuse me. So that's what I aim for. I'm a very simple guy now. I'm very simple. A lot of people go out with, Lyndon, are you going to judge the food? Are you going to? No. I come to eat and enjoy myself. I don't come to judge nobody's food. If it tastes nice, I give credit where it's due. If it doesn't taste nice, because sometimes I go out with my children. Even my children are critical now about what foods that they eat, because they know a good tasting food, and then they don't hold back, which I love. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. I also love a lot of tomatoes as well. I'm heavy on my salads.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I love it. And I love a lot of roast vegetables as well. Roast red onion, peppers, butternut squash, these kind of things, aubergines, courgettes, as a mixture with fresh thyme, a bit of olive oil. Keep it simple, simple, and then you throw a bit of tomato in there as well at the end with garlic oil, because what I do at home, I do a garlic oil. I get fresh garlic, olive oil, and I just blend it all down, and then I just keep it. I make my own fresh garlic oil. I put a bit of salt and pepper in there. Sometimes I put coriander in it as well, because I love coriander. Some people put parsley. Fresh parsley is nice as well. Fresh parsley is good for the flavonoid as well. So, but I love the flavor of coriander, cilantro they call it as well. So, and I blend that down, so it's easy for me. Even sometimes when I'm doing like a little fried egg, I put that garlic oil in there. We have our little things. So yeah, so that's my go-to.
A question. Did you have to change your friends and hangout habits to help you get to your goal?
My hangout habits.
Or your friends to get to your goal?
To be honest with you, yes, I think so, because to get to my goal, I had to be focused on me. Yeah, my main focus was doing what I needed to do. So I didn't spend much time with a lot of my family or friends apart from coming home and going to work, because I was on a journey. And when you're on a journey, if you start to go out with your family and friends, you're going to be eating, and you're not going to be eating out. You're not going to be eating this. You're not going to be eating that. They'll see you as boring, because they'll be drinking wine, beer. I want to drink water. 9 times out of 10, I'm going out. I'm drinking water. I don't drink anything else. It's very, very rare that I drink anything like that, or fizzy. Even fizzy. I went out the other day. I had a ginger beer. It's very rare that I drink ginger beer. It's just that I was with somebody, they had a Guinness, and I thought, okay, I'll just have a ginger beer, because I haven't had one for a long time and see what it tastes. And to be honest, I didn't even like it. I didn't enjoy it. It's one of these branded ginger beers that somebody else. It wasn't the one that we're used to. The ones that we're addicted to, they don't sell them everywhere now. They used to. People come out with their own branded ginger beer. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. But to be honest with you, even now, I go out now with family, friends. I got no issues now. I still have my water. If I want a fizzy drink, I'll have something. There's certain, I won't mention the names, but there's certain ones I just won't touch. I just won't touch them, no way. But yeah, I'm pretty good when I go out now. You know, I look at certain things on the menu, and people know what I am and who I am. So even if I just have a salad with a fish or something side, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, one of the things that a lot of people suffer from with a big belly, we've got parasites in our system. We've got parasites. And one of the best ways to get rid of parasites, number one, is to abstain from eating. And to get rid of parasites, there's a few things you can do. Number one, pumpkin seeds. Yeah, you can get pumpkin seeds. The way I like my pumpkin seeds, I get pumpkin seeds, I get a very hot pan. I get it hot. I put the pumpkin seeds in it. I put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on it, and a little sprinkle of Himalayan salt or Celtic salt on it, and I toss it round and I leave them to dry out, because I like mine's crispy. I don't like it like chewy. I like mine's crispy. So this is what I do. And if it's not crispy enough, I turn the heat back up, and I do like 400 grams of that, and I have a tablespoon of that each day. That's my go-to. The other thing is a watermelon with the black seeds. Yeah, that takes the parasites out of the body as well. And I love doing watermelon juicing. I love that. And the other one is pumpkin. No, not pumpkin. Papaya. Sorry, papaya is another one. Papaya with the black seeds. Yeah, I do juice with all three of them sometimes. Yeah, and that takes parasites out of the body. So this is one of the things you need to do, is cleanse the body. You know, get rid of stuff inside your body. When I went for a body scan, they told me that I had a fatty liver. They did. I had a fatty liver. So my fatty liver, yeah, I didn't know what to do about it. They just told me. And one day I went to see my friend. I said, listen, Prost, listen, I got diabetes, man. I'm diabetic. And they told me I got a fatty liver as well. And he goes, Lyndon, you're diabetic. You're fatty liver. Here's me whispering to him, and he's opening up his big mouth, you know, telling everybody, you know. He says, Lyndon, what you need to do is lemon water in the morning. Lemon water in the morning before you eat anything. Yeah, okay. It can be room temperature, warm, but just drink lemon water. That will help with the fatty liver. So you got some friends around you who care for you, and they'll give you some good advice. Definitely. You know, so if people have got good advice regarding diabetes or certain ailments, share it with them. Help your family, your friends. This is what I do now. You know, so I share that one family, the liver. You know. And there's other things you can do as well. Pomegranate to help with the circulation in the body. Beetroot juice. One of my go-to drinks, to be honest, one of my go-to drinks now is beetroot juice, beetroot, ginger, and apple as a blend together. There's something about that which just hits me. It's just like, wow. I just love that. That's one of my favorite juices, you know. And also with the watermelon, I like, you know, the burro bananas, the small bananas, but we call them burros, the small ones we have. That and watermelon, wow, beautiful, beautiful. So that's what you need to do to detox the body, get your body detoxed.
Thank you, Lyndon. You seem pretty busy this morning. He asked, you had to have changed the diet at your house. How did your family relate to that?
How did you know the thing about the thing about it, at that time my mother-in-law was with us, yeah, and my mother-in-law had some health issues, yeah, and she changed her diet within the same household when I was diabetic, but she was doing her own cooking for her own self, vegetables, salads, and all that. And sometimes we'll have some of it, but we wasn't used to it. So one day when I was on my diabetic journey, my friend told me, get spirulina, Lyndon, get spirulina, get chlorella. You know what I'm saying, with a protein. So I said to my mother-in-law, because she was going shopping that day, I said, can you go and get me spirulina when you go out? So you can find spirulina and chlorella. She went into the kitchen. Within 1 minute, she come back to me, chlorella and spirulina on the table. She was eating healthy already, doing the things already, and we didn't even know. Sometimes you got people around you healthy, and we can't even see it because we're in our own zone. So when she was doing her own investigations, her own meals, we just kept eating the same way. But after a period of time, I mentioned to my wife, okay, I want to start eating this, more salads, These are the salads that I want. These are the fruit and vegetables that I want. Let's start buying more of these stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's how it changed gradually. Even my daughter is 22 now. She went pescatarian. She stopped eating meat because of me. Because I used to go on the events where we talk about healthy eating, and my daughter would pick up on it. So even now, my daughter eats healthier, much healthier as a 22-year-old. I thought to myself, that's because of my journey. So sometimes the parents, we have to lead the way first. We have to set an example for our children. If you've got a child that looks unhealthy, eating all the junk food, you could tell them, why are you eating that for? You could stop them from eating it because you're the parent, especially if you're paying for it. This is how I disciplined my daughter. I didn't bother me because I knew this was not good for you. You either stop it, cut down on it. You have to, you know. And when they saw my persona, how I looked, fit, everything, they said, "Wow, Dad," you know. So they want to be like you, healthier, you know. So all my children, they're healthier. They say, I'm proud of my kids. I really am proud of my kids. They do football, they do sports, you know. They look good. You know, look at my kids the other day. I said, wow, you guys looking well, you know, looking good. So I'm happy with that. You know, lead by example, parents, lead by example.
Dr. Muda asked you to explain the okra water.
Okay, the okra water was introduced to me by somebody. Let's say, for example, you got a 500 ml glass bottle, yeah, of water. I put mineral water, I do, or still water. And then you get the okra, maybe 3 to 4 fingers of okra. You cut them into quarters or whatever you want, and just put them in the water and leave them out for 24 to 48 hours. Let them start to go slimy or break down, and then just drink it. And then just drink it. And it'll go slimy. You could strain it off as well. But with that helps reduces the blood sugar naturally. So this is I got a drink. I got a bottle here, but it doesn't look nice. But that's one of my go-to drinks. It is. That's one of my go-to drinks, definitely. You know, okra water. I can show it to you guys. I got a bottle here. I have. I can get it in a second. You know, so I can show you that I'm actually still practicing what I'm preaching. You know.
What's your advice for families trying to prepare meals for someone living with diabetes?
Find out what the number one thing with people living with diabetes, yeah.
Idiot on 5 so FM is now 4 minutes after the hour of 11 a.m. in Surface and Solution, of course, the Eastern Caribbean. It's been quite an interesting discussion. And of course, we've Lyndon Wissart from the UK. Just want to apologize for that breaking interruption. We continue with our discussion.
Yeah, sorry about that. Somebody rang me. I'm on my phone, not my computer. I do apologize. What was the question again?
What's your advice for families trying to prepare meals for persons living with diabetes?
Okay, the person with diabetes, yeah. What I would do is find out all the flavonoid foods that they like, all the foods that they like. Make a list of all those foods that they like. Yeah. If it's certain water they like, make a list of what they like and start creating a menu around that person. You know, start creating a menu like the okra water. Start doing okras for them. Bitter gourd, chlorella. You know, introducing cinnamon into their drinks now. Have herbal drinks. You know, sour sop drinks, lemon and ginger. The food side of it, peppers, onions, salads, whatever they like, and start introducing that into their diet. If you're shopping for them, if you can make it for them, make it for them. If you're not able to make it for them, let them make it themselves. But the most important thing is, even if the food is repetitive and it tastes nice, it doesn't matter. Like you, Cabrina, you love tomatoes. I can eat tomatoes all the time because you know that flavor. And Cabrina, where you live, the tomatoes probably taste even better. You know, you've probably
Yes,
got better
they do.
tomatoes.
Yes, they do. Given our tropics as well. Yes.
Exactly, yeah. So we have to import tomatoes over here in the UK. So it's give and take sometimes if you get a nice tomato, you know, give and take. So what I'll say to you, anyone got diabetics in your family, just work with them, yeah, on them on a menu with them. That's what I'll suggest, definitely for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Thank you for that. And of course, looking ahead, what are your current projects, books, collaborations?
Yeah, I'm doing a collaboration at the moment with somebody. I can't put the name out there yet because it's a big name in the community. You know, with somebody approached me, and actually he just rang me. That's why my phone just went off. Actually, yeah. So I have to get back to him. So there's something I'm working on at the moment, which is going to be very, very big, and I will share that with you once it comes out. Um, Also, I'm going to be writing another book. This is the current book at the moment, The Inspired Diabetic. Yeah, but in this book, yeah, I've got certain ingredients. It's not full of recipes, but next year this year for next year I'm gonna be working on a book um, with more recipes in, because this book is about my journey. I've got ingredients in there, but it's about my journey. So next year, my plan is to do some live events as well. You know, hopefully I'll be coming to St. Lucia with Chef Orlando, you
I
know, and
know.
and do some talks with him. And yeah, I'm excited about putting something together to come over and share my diabetic journey in person. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. You know, so yeah, and we move on from there. And it's 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 nice to be in the position that I'm in. I don't take it for granted because I didn't go out specifically to write a book. You know, it's only by choice that I wrote the book. And to be on to be on a show with you, Queen Cabrina, you know, it's an honor and privilege. Thank you very much for inviting me on. I don't take it lightly because this is nothing I planned in my life to be doing. You know, so I thank you very much, Chef Orlando. Thank you very much for introducing me to the show, the station. I'm well appreciated. Thank you. Really
You're
appreciate
most
it.
welcome for sure. And it's just the first of our conversation. What do you hope people take away from your message about food and health?
Uh, the message that I'm gonna stick to is what I'm gonna continue sticking to: mindset, physical activity, intermittently fasting, yeah, and mindset, diet, physical activity, and intermittently fasting. These are the four things you need to focus on. And if you want to get started, that's what I would say. It's a story of a person that's done it and maintaining it, which is so important nowadays. It's so important. The thing that I found on my journey, why some people don't reverse the diabetes, they haven't got a template where to start. They haven't got a template. Where do I start? What do I do? So when you go home, you're back to normal because the people at home, they don't know what to do with you. You don't know what to do. So I'm always going to say my template is, this is the template. This is where I say get started.
And of course, for persons who may not have seen it clearly, it's the inspired diabetic
Yeah.
Lyndon Wissart. How can listeners follow your journey or learn more of your work? I mean, in terms of your platforms.
On my platforms, I'm on Instagram, The Inspired Diabetic, or L Wissart, LWISSART. Facebook is the Inspired Diabetic as well. I've got my website, theinspireddiabetic.com. Yeah. So these are the places you can follow me. You can sign up to my newsletter, which I can send out. You could contact me directly with any questions that you want or concerns that you have. I've got no issues with that at all. You know, it was just my birthday the other day. I'm a Scorpio, but I don't sting when I talk to you. I might bite, but I don't sting, you know, and everything comes from the heart. Everything comes to the heart, because all we hear about is to help people within a community to heal and nourish themselves. Yeah, heal and nourish mentally, physically, but it starts with the mouth, starts with the mind. And for a lot of people out there, you can do it. No sugarcoating. You can do it. You can do it. I challenge you out there. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I can reverse my type 2 diabetes. I can reverse my type 2 diabetes. I will reverse my type 2 diabetes. I'm reversing my type 2 diabetes. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. Look at your body. How do you feel? You don't have to take big action like I did, straight away down the gym. Do little things. There's a saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bit at a time. Not one chunk, one bit at a time. There's no different to diabetes. I done mine in 105 days. It's not a sprint. Yeah, it's just a journey, your journey. So the number one thing that you have to do, find out what your HbA1c is. Yeah, got it here. Your HbA1c. What is your HbA1c? Go to your doctor, your clinic, ask them, what's your HbA1c? If it's 50, if it's 60, if it's 70, get it, write it down, get a printout of it. So for the next month, 2 months, yeah, you can work towards reducing it.
Thank you so much. And that was some motivation right there to those of you who are listening and, of course, going through that story as well, story of my life, as you would want to put it. Hope you feel inspired today. And like I said, this is just a first of a series of conversations where we will be encouraging persons to eat healthy as well. And especially for our diabetics, take everything we said here, do your research, and try to, from today, the little you can, to change that lifestyle. Dr. Sheni Mula.
Mudlia, yeah, Dr. Session in Mudlia, yeah.
Seshni Mulye. Okay, she said it's a fantastic show.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Lyndon and Queen. Yeah, she heard that. Huh? Great show. All the best. And Lyndon's book is brilliant. I'm trying to, how do I actually access that book? I have to go on your platform as well. So.
Yes. I think, yes, yeah. I don't know where in the Caribbean where you can get the book. You could try. We could talk anyway. That's not an issue.
Okay. Oh, I'll have to wait next year, hopefully, when you do get down here.
Okay, definitely, 100%.
Immense gratitude to you, Wissart, for sharing your inspiring story and insights with us on this show, which of course is called House Guest. It's been a pleasure as always. And again, just a mention of where people can find more info.
More info about me on Instagram under L Wissart, LWISSART, or the Inspired Diabetic on Instagram. On Facebook, the Inspired Diabetic. I've got a Facebook page there. And my website, theinspireddiabetic.com. All one word, theinspireddiabetic.com. All one word.
Thank you immensely. And I just want you to just leave a little inspiration for our listening audience. 15 minutes after the hour. Hey, in St. Lucia, of course, you're on the other part of the hemisphere. Yes.
Now, my inspiration to each and everyone out there, if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, if I can do it, you can get started. If I can do it, you can get started. If I can do it, you can get started.
And start by looking at yourself in the mirror, you're correct?
Yes, 100%. 100%. You have to start with the mindset. Can I do it? What do I need to do? That's where it starts. And to be honest with you, because it's just food that's going in your mouth, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Be positive. Say, I want to do it. No matter what anybody's around you. If you have to put some people to one side on your journey, do it. But you know something? Type 2 diabetes is temporary. Remember, it's temporary. It's not a lifetime situation because it's just food you're putting into your mouth. Yeah, it's just food you're putting into your mouth, and you can control it. You can control it. You know, you can't control it. I believe in you.
I
I believe in you. I believe in you. I can feel your spirit. I know you want to change. You will change. You will improve. But it starts with you. You have the template. You have the template. You have the template.
definitely the inspired diabetic. And I think
Yes,
as much as you say, yes, it starts with you, but persons are still feeling afraid to take that first step. Maybe if it's a lack of encouragement, maybe the mindset, the support, all those things can rally against that as well.
100%. But what you need to do, the person that's beside you, that's the one you want to work with. Yeah, I had a heart-to-heart talk with one of my best friends this morning. One of my best friends from the day that I was diagnosed with diabetes. The first day, and I told him, up to now, he's still with me. I cannot put a price. I cannot put a price on his head of how much he supported me. There is no money in the world that can replace him. Nothing can replace him. Because he's one person in my life that inspired, changed, motivated, made me feel like, go forward, Lyndon. When somebody does something for you for nothing because they believe in you, that's love and affection. When somebody comes up to you and say, I'm going to help you, but it's going to cost this amount of money, they're in it for the money. They're not in it for you. Yeah, we need more people out there who's going to forget about the financial side of it and just open up their heart and help people. Forget about the financial. You see somebody sick, you want to help them. Forget about the finance. Just say, I'm going to help you. And this is what I've got in my life. And that is so important. You know, I feel right now, I feel like one of my good friends, Yvonne Michelle, she speaks like this. I think I spoke to her for about an hour yesterday. So I think she's done something to me, you know? If anybody's out there listening in the UK, Yvonne Michelle's doing a show, a one lady show, Caught You in a Lie. It's a brilliant show. I've seen it twice already. It's heart touching, motivating, musically glamorous. And you know, if possible, one day, Kabrina, we're going to try and bring it to St. Lucia.
I was actually thinking, yeah, one day that can happen as well. But the similar platform, like we're having that discourse now, I would love to do that with her as well.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, 100%. She's a heartbeat to everybody. She's got a event is in the 15th next week, Saturday the 15th, at the Constantine Leary Theatre in Neasden. Yeah, but it's on my website anyway. Not my website, it's be my social media. It's on my Instagram today. I've put it on my Instagram today. But it's Yvonne Michelle. Michelle is Michele. YvonneMichelle.com. Yeah, go to YvonneMichelle.com and you can find out more about it there. Yvonne is YVONNE, Michelle, MICHELE.com. She's a powerhouse. She's a powerhouse. Singer, entertainer, actor. Guys, get your tickets, man. I'll be there. I'm definitely going to be there.
And of course, do enjoy. 20 minutes after the hour, this is again why I extend my gratitude. Thank you so much. And looking forward to hearing more from you as well on this journey, and an inspiring note to all those as well who are facing, this similar disease. It is not a death sentence, but it's time for change.
Yes.
This is why I say have a blessed and a productive one. Thank you, thank you, thank you immensely.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
You asked for more live and relevant talk shows, and we heard you. 88.5 Super FM presents House Guest, a brand new, fresh fortnightly feature